Hello and welcome to Breast Friends Cancer Support Network. My name is Michelle Beck. I'm a two-time survivor of breast cancer, and I've almost reached my 10 years out, which is fantastic. I work at Breast Friends of Oregon, whose mission it is that no one goes through cancer alone. And when I have time, which is not very often, you can find me on social media at I Never Liked Pink. And that's also where you can find my blog. But today I'm super excited because I have two fabulous guests here, Lisa Rhoades and Jordon Hice. And they are co-founders of a local gym here in Tigard, Oregon called Fit Alliance. And I have to say that it's not just a gym. They are, one of their taglines is more than just a gym, which I love because they offer so much more in terms of personal training and one-on-one connection with their members, coaching a variety of coaches, male and female, who really can assist anyone with moving on after a cancer diagnosis or what they actually specialize in, which they love, which is I'm the prime candidate for people over 40 who have ignored their fitness for a really long time, which is definitely me. So welcome, Lisa and Jordon. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us,
Thanks for
Michelle.
having us.
Yes. So I always start off with a little bio. So, Lisa, I'm going to start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself outside of the whole Fit Alliance world. We'll get there.
Well, I grew up in Los Angeles, so I am a California native.
Oh, me too.
I do love sunshine, so that it was very, very fitting for me. My journey kind of into this world is, at the age of 14, I think I became a vegetarian in seeking out kind of overall health and trying to figure out what that looks like. And then I started running track in high school. And then by the time I was 16, I was still a vegetarian, but really was shifting my mindset around nutrition and kind of really figuring out what it was to be healthy, which wasn't really the complete idea wasn't there when I was 14. So
That's still very impressive that as a teen, you were really focusing on this and the fact that you became a vegetarian and were even thinking that at that point in your life when most of us are thinking about the next party.
Yes, definitely. And physical activity was a huge part of everything I did as well. And then kind of out of high school, I went to school, I became a paralegal and I was working in
Me too.
your report. It's a great career. But I think physical activity was always a part of what I did. So I, was always strength training. I was strength training friends were asking to work out with me. I would write programs for them. And so then, years later, I decided that working in an office just wasn't working for me anymore and went back to school and became a personal trainer. And then from there, I actually I found a small gym, similar to what Fit Alliance is. I found a small gym and shadowed and worked under a mentor. And then she was fantastic, taught me a ton, introduced me to my now mentor, who is an athletic trainer, and he was through Oregon State at the time. And then the gym was sold to a chiropractor, and I worked under him for 7 years. So most of my career has been working under clinicians and learning in the rehabilitation world. And it just so happened that the demographic that I worked with was mostly women, men too. They're not included. They're not excluded. Between the ages of 40 to 60, really. So
Well, and that's really a demographic that if you haven't gotten into fitness by that point and say they injure themselves, that's something they really need is something specific for their age group and that can help them with the rehabilitation part or even just the motivation to get started, which is huge.
Well, and it can be intimidating, right? If you haven't been in that world at all, going into a gym, not knowing what to do, or maybe having not done it in years, it can be really intimidating. And yeah, you do run the risk for injury. So so I worked with the chiropractor, and then I think it was in 2017, Jordon joined on the team and we worked together. We actually had met previously at a continuing ed conference, but but we worked together. And then in 2018, we formed Fit Alliance.
And then the magic happened. So Jordan, how about you? What's your background?
Oh man, where to start? I was always, I think, growing up, kind of athletic and into soccer. Like that's probably where I think the passion for this came from. I've been doing that since I was like 5, and then playing sports is probably one of the things that really got me into fitness and weightlifting, and wanted to be a little bit more competitive. Having older brothers, trying to compete and keep up with them. By the time I was like 12 or 13, I really started getting more serious about fitness. Got my first gym membership, and I got into fasting, I guess, before it was the cool
Before
thing.
it was cool.
Yeah, right. And yeah, I did go vegetarian and vegan for a short period of time, but that wasn't like, an intention. I was just I wanted to try it out for a little bit. I do eat more of a plant-based diet for the most part, but I think after that, seeing family, we'll talk about this, I'm sure, at some point, just family health history,
Mhm.
definitely, a lot of overweight, a lot of chronic health issues in my family that I saw, and a lot of people passed away from, things that are preventable. So seeing that, seeing my mother deal with autoimmune conditions, being an athlete, I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist, and so I went down that route in school. I became a personal trainer actually at 18. I was probably the first like job in the industry, doing some group classes and some personal training, and then went to Oregon State and got a degree in exercise and sports science, and started doing post rehab there. And that's where I got really serious about exercise, sport, and science. I actually had a back injury a couple months before I started at Oregon State. So I moved up from Los Angeles. I grew up there too. So I'm sure we'll talk about that also. And yeah, I went to Oregon State for a couple of years, and met my mentor there, who that's how I actually got the job over at with working with Lisa at Clinic Fit. The time was through Guido, our mentor, and he let me know about an opportunity that was opening up because one of the other trainers was moving out of state. And so all the training that I had experience with post rehab came in really handy, working with a lot of the same clientele, mostly, adults 40 plus. A lot of them have something going on, aches or pains, at least a little bit. And we work with a lot of people with joint replacements. So, and then I would say probably about 15% of our clientele right now at Fit Alliance are cancer survivors. And so, we have a little bit of experience working with them as well.
I love that. And we will get into this a little bit later, but last year, Fit Alliance, you guys put on a community event for breast friends and are doing another one this year on October 1st, but we will get there. So why did you two, so you were obviously working together, you're both very passionate about fitness and had seen a lot of people who really benefit from it. What made you decide like, oh my gosh, I'm going to take this giant leap and go out and we're going to do our own thing?
Good question.
Yeah.
I think some of it is an opportunity was presented to us, so part of it is luck of, timing. I think part of it also is, definitely seeking continual growth in the industry and trying to find other ways to create sustainable careers for ourselves and for other people in the industry. And so I really think that, so the way we started, so I'll actually share what our mission is with you, or our actual purpose of the
Yes, please.
That kind of I think helps understand a little bit more where we're coming from. So I think our purpose is continual growth from past experiences and innovation. And so that's how we were founded, was an opportunity to continue to grow when the last gym decided to close. And through hard work and persistence, Lisa and I were at a place where we were actually able to take on that opportunity. And obviously we got lucky that there was, that opportunity presented itself. And so about 25 members from that gym as it closed, they were there to support us. And we were able to keep the community together to start or create a new building or facility for us to house the community in. And so learning from the past community leaders' mistakes, but also taking what was very successful and people enjoyed, and carrying that going forward is part of that mission. And, during COVID, I think it was pretty amazing. Well, actually, let's take it back before COVID, when we were first building the place out, a lot of our members helped us, individuals with skills to help us put the tile floor down, glue the rubber floors, paint the walls, all that stuff was done by us and our coaching staff, Eric, our head coach, and some of our members that helped us out. So that's, I don't think we would have been able to pull it together without all those resources at the time.
That's when you've built an amazing community of people that, number one, come with you when you're like, hey, this place is closing, but they're like, take a chance on us and come with us. And then they're like doing construction work. I mean, that is amazing because no one wants to do construction work or help people move. So you two have obviously developed a family in the gym.
Absolutely.
And they are actually the reason that we kind of took the leap, right? They knew the gym was closing. They were, where are you going? And like, we can't leave them stranded. We need to do something. We both still have some of I have my very first training clients are still with us. They're still with us. They've been with me for how many years? Over 10, 12. Can't remember how many years it's been, but quite a while. And they're the ones that are still our number one cheerleaders and supporters. So
that is a huge sign of success. Now, you two are obviously so passionate about fitness, and what drives you to continue doing this? I mean, yes, it's been your life for so long, but fitness and physical health, which also leads to better mental and emotional health. You guys are really providing the whole thing, but what continues to drive you?
Your answer?
Well, I think, yeah, my answer is just knowing that, the health of everyone and just knowing what minimal lifestyle changes can do for someone's health is really and educating people on that and knowing that it's not, a complete overhaul of their life, but just even little bitty changes can add to their longevity. And I think that's really important for me to share. Yeah.
What about you, Jordan?
Similar. I think it's also changed over time being in the industry. I definitely think the thing that got me into it and probably what gave me the most fulfillment was seeing perceptions of clients' ability levels change as they progress. And, they start off with a goal of, I just want to be able to be out of pain and get, roll over in bed in the morning and not have my back hurt and stuff like that. And then it becomes, I want to go downhill skiing. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Yeah. So those are cool to see. I think as we've progressed in our careers and have developed an organization, where we're not only responsible for the community, but also a team of individuals that help take care of that community. My passion is growing into, and I think this thing that really keeps me going a lot is developing sustainable careers for other people in this industry, developing our team and ability for growth for them to be able to not burn out in a year. That's the average personal training life cycle is a year.
That's crazy. Wow. I'm not familiar with very many personal trainers, but that seems a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it because you're just giving so much of your all to other people that you're like, okay, I can't do it anymore? Was that something like that?
A few reasons. Yeah.
There's a low barrier to entry. And so, at our gym, we take it pretty seriously. And we always talk about qualified versus certified. And a lot of people can get a certification. I think that it is a lot that you pour into your clients, and there can be a little bit of a burnout. I also think that some of the education curriculum and the way that people get guided in the industry could be changed a little bit to help individuals out a little bit more, teach more business and financial acumen, and teach more systematic ways of doing things that are proven. So, the mentorship process works really well for this industry, but a lot of people don't go through it.
Yeah, well, you guys both mentioned mentors, so it seems like a huge part of where you're at this point. And Lisa, you said you still have a mentor. Now you have many other coaches that work with you guys. And how did you assemble that team and with their backgrounds? And do you work as mentors to them?
Absolutely.
So we were actually instructors at a personal training school that was located locally, and from there we developed an internship program. And so we have our head coach actually was part of that internship. He was one of our first interns. We also
student before
he
that.
was a student before that,
Okay.
and then an intern for us. And he actually helped us lay some of the flooring down as well. And then we have an internship program through PCC and Oregon State. So we really like to educate up and coming trainers.
Yes, they might have their certifications, but as you said, they have to be qualified. And you, looking at your website, I know you have a variety of men and women. So if someone comes in and says, I want a male, I prefer a male coach, and obviously that's something that you guys can accommodate for whatever reason.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And since you're so passionate about this, I'm assuming that you two still do some of the personal coaching and training yourselves, not just being the bosses.
Oh yeah. Yep. We're still on the floor pretty regularly.
Yeah, we did, and we at this point we still are small enough and able to know all of our members, and you know, at this moment I do all of the onboarding or initial assessments when individuals come into our facility. I sit down with them, talk about their goals, start to build a program out for them, look at lifestyle factors that we can modify, and then we do a very thorough movement assessment with everybody to make sure that we're clearing or screening to see if there's any pain with movement, any restrictions in range of motion. If we have any areas that need maybe isolated strengthening, we can look at that type of stuff and start to build a roadmap and a program that's going to be tailored to where that person is ability level wise, where they're starting out. So very individualized approach, so we can, you know, especially we talk about post-cancer, and some of those treatments can make you pretty fatigued. And so if you're getting reconditioned, we had a lady post-breast cancer, and started training with her. We got to start off really low volume, meaning not doing a ton of weight and a ton of reps and sets, and build it back really slowly to get reconditioned. So, you know, it's a lot of specific considerations when it comes to exercise.
Yeah, my personal assessment would take a long time, that's for sure, because of my multiple surgeries and my pain from my cancer medication. And I'm, you know, trying to figure that out myself. But I appreciate the really individualized assessments and follow up, because I'm assuming that at Fit Alliance, you guys do one-on-one, but then you also do small groups. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
And so, you know, we're obviously not coaching all of the sessions, but even on the small group, I'll do the intake. Lisa will do very similar for nutrition. So that's included in everything, is our making sure that we're actually able to get results. If we don't look at the nutrition, not getting results. And so even the people in the small group, which is 6 people or less per coach, we still have a lot of touch with them, contact points, and we can help them by overseeing the program, even if we're not necessarily coaching each session. And we're available in between for coaching as well. And so I think that's, you know, some of the added value is that we really try and develop an actual coaching relationship with these individuals, rather than just be a gym where they can come and work out. Yeah,
so we might not be coaching the actually like their class or their session, but we will be coaching them in goal setting, and like reassessment for movement, and then in nutrition, and then maybe reevaluating, right? Nutrition is kind of a moving target. We constantly have to reevaluate and see what the next step is.
Yeah.
I completely understand. That's something I also need a lot of work on. So I should probably make my appointment now. If someone does want to come in and get started with Fit Alliance here in the, you know, Tigard area or Southern Portland area, how do they do that?
Good question. I think the easiest way is to get on a phone call. We give our phone number is
503.
We just changed it. We got a phone number.
It's 647.
You know it.
4527. Yes, I have to make myself memorize it.
Well, and it's
website too. They can go to fitalliancepdx.com. But you know, since we are a service-based business, you're gonna have to talk to one of us at some point. So phone call is the easiest. That way we set up a free one-on-one session that we just kind of talked about the outline of it, how we do the movement assessment. If they just want to talk on the phone, that's fine. We can do that too first, or we could just set up an appointment to give them a tour of the facility. Really, we're pretty open and realize that we want to show people value and that we have something that's going to actually be able to help them before we're trying to sell them anything.
I love the idea of the actual phone call, and it's good that you're focusing on 40 and over because millennials don't do phone calls.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's all text and online. So we talked about this a little bit. So how we met was about a year ago. You, being the founders of Fit Alliance, you hosted a community day and fundraiser for breast friends. And this year it's coming up on Saturday, October 1st. So all of you locals out there, we would love to see you. But how did you guys find out about Breast Friends and get associated with us?
So we're part of the Tigard Chamber of Commerce, and we were the ambassador chairs, which is the ambassadors are a group of volunteers that help support the chamber and put on networking meetings. And so we were the head of that little group for a while. We met Diana Benke. She was at the chamber. I know Breast Friends is a member of the Tigard Chamber as well.
Yes.
And so met her and found out about the organization a few years ago. And then I was part of another networking group, BNI. That's Allison was in our group, and so started to kind of chat with her and hang out with her a little bit more, and became friends. And then that was the talking back and forth, fostering the idea of doing something collaborative together. And I mean, I latched on to this organization because I have some cancer in my family, and my grandmother was a big influence in my life, who passed away from breast cancer. And it was definitely, she knew about it for about 2 years, that she had a lump in her breast and didn't say anything. And so that could have been prevented. And so, any opportunity that I can give back to cancer, but specifically breast cancer, it's something that's near and dear.
I appreciate that. My grandmother had it 3 times and passed from metastatic breast cancer. So she went through it for 20 years. But that was actually one of my questions is, do you know, what's your association with cancer? How about you, Lisa? Is it something that has been affected your family and friend group?
So my father died from lymphoma, which is unfortunately very treatable, but probably waited too long.
Circumstances.
I have a girlfriend. She actually is a survivor. She's a breast cancer survivor. She had a double mastectomy and chemo and radiation, and then reconstruction. And then not super close to me, but I have a childhood friend that I grew up with my whole life. His spouse actually went through fertility treatments, and then on the last few weeks of her pregnancy, was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so they had to emergency deliver the baby so they could start, I think she had a double mastectomy and then start treatment. And she lived about 7 years, but ultimately passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry. And there's none of us who have not been affected drastically in some way. And obviously my world is breast cancer, but there's so much out there. And so with the association with Breast Friends in the past, we're actually doing the community fundraiser again this year, as I mentioned, on Saturday, October 1st. So tell us what is in store for us this year and why we decided to do it again.
Yeah, well, I think we decided to do it again. We had a really great showing last year. We had a lot of people there.
We did it all in like 2 months. We put it together in 2 months last year.
It was a whirlwind.
It was a whirlwind.
When you're passionate, you can do anything.
Oh yeah, we got it done. We were canvassing, going door to door, talking to people, different businesses, and getting donations and stuff. But we had like 125 people there. It was a lot of fun we had baby goat petting, and
I can't wait for the baby goats.
Yep, they'll be back again this year. And we have the vodka tasting, and the Mexican restaurant is gonna to donate a portion of their proceeds to Breast Friends as well. They're in the same parking lot as us. And so we raised about $5,000, and I want to see if we can beat it this year. I'm a little competitive when it comes to those type of things.
Well, yeah.
Get some more people at the event is the goal, and then have some more vendors. We got a lot of cool stuff planned. I'm not going to spill the beans on all of it, but I'll give you a little heads up already. We have baby goats, vodka tasting, Mexican food, margaritas. We'll have chair massage again, some baked goods.
Nice.
giant inflatables. I think the kind of goal of the event though is really what's the interesting part for me, and what makes it kind of fun, because the goal of the event, or kind of our vision, is number one, we want to generate funds for breast friends, and we want to support the ladies going through their breast cancer journey. And to do that, we wanted to really make it a true community event. So everybody at this event, all the vendors, everybody participating, it's all volunteer. Everybody's donating their time and their money, and they're all quality local businesses. And so that was kind of our vision, was to generate money for breast friends while having fun, supporting the local economy, and it being a true community event where everybody is sharing in the time and the expense of it, right? And it worked out the first year, so we're like, let's do it again.
I love it. And I actually met quite a few people last year, and one of them was my guest earlier this year, Will Eberhardt. He did
Awesome.
Will came on and we talked about really well, Perseverance Marketing is his company, but how he literally gives back just because he was a ambassador for the Real Men Wear Pink campaign and raised money for that. And he didn't have breast cancer. And yes, men do get breast cancer. We know that, just not as often. But I assumed that he had. And so it was a funny story when I was emailing him hey, I can't wait to talk about your cancer. He goes, I didn't have cancer. He's like, I was just a supporter. I'm like, oh my God, that's an even better story.
I love it.
Yes.
He's actually the MC this year.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, he has the perfect MC voice. I'm gonna have to get up there with him at some point, because we could do a whole show. Well, we we had a great time on the show together, but it really is important. And my sign off for every podcast is we rise by lifting each other. And there's so much competition out in the world, and not yourself, Jordon, competing to raise more money than last year, but really the world is a better place when we are all helping each other move forward. And that's what you guys are doing. Yes, it's your business, but you're helping people who are, need to work on their fitness, or recover from their injuries, or recover from cancer. So all of those things are it's really just helping out everyone. You guys get to enjoy your jobs, which not everyone does. So that's a really important thing that you're doing.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. And we do take the responsibility. We don't take it lightly, because we do know that physical fitness, health, and just putting some healthy energy towards your well-being, it pays dividends. You can really change your life pretty significantly by changing some of your daily habits. And it's very powerful stuff that we all have control over. And we're super grateful that we have the ability to actually make a living doing it, and enjoy helping people, and don't have to go to work every day and hate what we're doing. We get to have fun, enjoy all the people, and create an awesome community of people that we can hang out with, and everybody kind of shares that like-minded mentality of continual progress and pushing forward.
Yes.
Well, and I imagine that gives you such a feeling of pride and actually joy to see people as they improve their health after being in your community.
Oh yeah, I think we're just excited when people reach these milestones, these goals they have for themselves. I mean, we're just as excited as they are. It's so fulfilling.
We just we have a little megaphone at the gym, and it's got a siren on it. When people hit a personal record on an exercise, we put the PR siren on now. So it's kind of fun.
Well, that's awesome, because it allows everyone in there to support whoever's hitting their new goal, which is fabulous. So back to Fit Alliance, what kind of programs do you offer? Like, I've seen a while ago, because I've obviously follow you on social media, Fit Alliance people, find them on social media and follow, but like about a group for specifically women who and I can't remember the exact one, but I was like, and I missed out on the opportunity, but just small group focus, let's do this. And it was kind of like a challenge. So tell us about that, or, some of the other programs that you really want to get out there.
Yeah, I think I think probably the ad that you saw was our 6-week longevity challenge.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And that is really where we discuss and educate people and practice habits that lead to longevity, right? So it's not about being as fit as you can, but what are the habits that you want to put in place that are going to help you live your longest life? So that's probably, that's one of the things we do. So we do different challenges throughout the year, and that's probably the one that you saw most recently on social media.
And it, you know, probably 85 or 90% of our gym are ladies, and so, you know, advertising to ladies specific. There's a couple guys, but you know, we actually get some feedback from individuals that are coming in specifically because they like working with other females. And so, you know, it wasn't necessarily intended to be a female only gym, but we kind of are in a way. We do have a few guys, but they're all really cool. And you know, most of them are like spouses of other members. And so yeah, we're open to all individuals, but we really, you know, specialize in that 40 to 60 but 50-year-old women. And so other services, the 6-week challenge, part of it is small group training. And so we offer one-on-one personal training, and we offer small group personal training, which is 6 people or less per coach. But everybody's got a kind of a customized program that's tailored to them. It's just some people may need a one-on-one setting, but a lot of individuals are okay to have a little less supervision, a little more autonomy, don't need as much hands-on and one-on-one attention, and then we can put them into the smaller group. So then that really kind of is, I think it's a better long-term solution for a lot of people because of the community aspect of it, and it's a little bit more cost-effective in terms of you know, investment-wise. So those are the 2 options that we really have for training. Or it's the same, but the environment's different. It's either one-on-one with a coach or in a small group, and then we offer the nutritional coaching that goes along with all of our memberships at the gym.
That was going to be my next question. Like, what else do you offer besides the fitness? So the nutrition coaching, and also really the community that, you know, I'm sure with, especially that you don't get in a big gym type. Cause I know I've been a member at large gyms a few times, and I'm always so intimidated because I don't know how to use all the machines. And, you know, the one personal training session they offer does me no good because they show me 10 different things to do. And then I come back 3 days later, and I'm like, I can't remember anything. And I don't know what I'm doing. And I always feel like, oh, well, they're looking at me. And then I end up not going because I'm so uncomfortable. But I love the fact that you guys are majority female. And it has to be a much more comfortable space for them to work out, and like, hey, you know, hey, Betty, I'll see you tomorrow, and that type of thing. It's really the accountability, I'm sure, is there as well.
Yes, absolutely. Accountability, as far as nutrition coaching, right? Looking at, I mean, we look at different aspects. It's not just calories and macronutrients. We look at your lifestyle. We look at any kind of nutrient deficiencies. We look at various things. I sometimes will send people for blood work. If they don't have it all, give them specific blood work to get done. We might look at food intolerances, and then we figure out how we can make something work in their life that is sustainable. There's no, you know, crash diets. There's nothing like that with us. It's not what we're about. We really want something that is sustainable for them.
I need to figure out a sustainable way to give up French fries.
Impossible.
Yeah, like most things I really could give up, but it's the carbs, man. That's what kills me. I love a good salad, but I want someone to make it for me. That's my problem.
Yeah.
So at Fit Alliance, I know you've mentioned this before, but you definitely have a lot of cancer survivors and who've been there. What kind of stuff have you seen that you've really been able to help with someone who is, say, post treatment? Because as like myself, I've had a lumpectomies, bilateral mastectomies, reconstruction. I have joint pain, and my movement is limited, and I do have pain. And what do you do, and how can you help someone who comes in like that and saying, I just want to feel better, but I have all these restrictions?
Yeah. You know, I think there's things that are specific to cancer that, you know, we can address, and those things, you know, have to do more so with, you know, recommendations on frequency and intensity, and if there's any contraindications because of surgery sites, or you know, precautions due to treatment, like current treatments. But for the most part, when we look at training, we're looking them at every person as a human being and just, functional capacity as a human. And not looking at necessarily the diagnosis. Now we have to take some things into consideration, but there's people without cancer that have aches and pains, and we're probably going to treat them very similar. Teaching you how to have strategies and skills for certain aches that you might have on a regular basis. We'll definitely teach self massage and stretching exercises. We have different foam rollers and different tools that we use and that are easy to and low cost that you can have at home. So we can teach you to be autonomous. We really want you to be able to do stuff on your own. And so during the assessment process, we figure out what are the right exercises for you. That's stretch, massage, strength, if you need some cardio, and then build out a program from there that's really tailored to you as a human being. So the answer is, if you have restrictions from cancer, that aches or pains and surgery, we definitely have strategies to help improve range of motion. And maybe in the shoulder, flexion overhead is can often be tight and have tightness in the chest and stuff like that. So there are specific stretches that we can utilize. Really, when it comes down to that type of stuff, we have scar tissue. We need to remodel it. So resistance training is the key. So we can place stresses along the tissue, and then basically our tissues will remodel along those lines of stress.
So explain to me what resistance training is, please.
Absolutely. We want to use some type of external force to create more tension through our muscles and elicit a change in strength, endurance, or building muscle mass. And so that would be body weight exercises. I'll use an example, a couple of simple examples, like a push-up could be resistance training, because you're using your body weight and pushing that up off of a different surface. And then we could do things like weight training with free weights, dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells. That type of stuff would be considered resistance training. If we used rubber bands, like elastic resistance exercise bands, or if we used machines or cable machine that has a stack of weight on a pulley system, those would all be considered resistance training exercises. So having some type of external load is really the key to improve the muscle qualities.
Now, for most of us who've been through a mastectomy, push-ups would be challenging. So we would have to figure out some ways around that.
Absolutely, yeah. And so we have modifications.
Yeah,
Yes.
There's various ways you can do push-ups. It doesn't have to be on the ground with a straight body, right? We have elevated and different levels, right, of elevation that we can put on.
On a countertop, or maybe through assessment we find that push-ups aren't right for you right now, and we just do other shoulder exercises and other upper body stuff. So that stuff usually comes out in the assessment process. We're really into the communication with our clients as well, and making sure that they're on board with when we're building out a program, because we don't want to do it and say, here, this is what you're going to do. We want to build out a program together, and so everybody's on board and they feel comfortable with the process, that we're doing the right stuff that's actually going to help them. And then we check in. I know you mentioned accountability, and we'll call you if we don't see you at a session, if you don't come to class.
Like, hi Joe, hi, where are you, Mary? When are you coming to class?
I had a client message me at like 9:30 last night. Hey, I'm not gonna be there in the morning. I'm like, awesome.
Good, you beat us to it. You don't want to call at 5:45 a.m. Where are you?
Yeah. And then, we have a regular check-in process too. Once a month, we send out a survey that you can fill out and just let us know how we're doing, how you're doing. And from there, you have an option to sit down with the coach for a few minutes. And then once a quarter, we do that every month. And then every third survey is a little bit more in depth and has a mandatory sit down for at least 15 minutes with the coach. So we'll check in. We have a monthly process, but we also have a 90-day process of how we're checking in with everybody. And that's how we kind of keep everybody on track in terms of reaching their goals. If their goals change, then we know about it. And a lot of other big box gyms, that's not the model. They want to just sell as many memberships as they can, and hopefully those people don't show up so that they can sell some more. So we really focus on creating a community, knowing each individual, and then producing some good results.
So we hold people accountable, but also the community does too. So if you're in the same kind of around the same time and people haven't seen you in a while, you may hear from them. You may hear from them as well. Like, hey, everything okay? I didn't see you on Wednesday. So
Yeah, totally makes sense.
with the whole community.
Now, can you guys think of an example of someone who has come in? You say you treated some, women with breast cancer who've come in and they've just really challenged, and you've watched them over time. Like what kind of stuff? Just any stories that you can think of about that. I know, totally random.
No, this is a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe with Candace. That's probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually I'm sorry.
She came in during treatment.
Yeah, we had a lady that came in. She's been a long time client. We're working with her for a few years. She came in before treatment, and then a little bit during treatment, and then got really serious after treatment. So I believe she had a couple surgeries. They did some radiation first to kind of shrink the size of the tumor, and then they ended up doing a
double mastectomy.
Double mastectomy. And so, but they didn't do it at the same time, correct?
No.
So we worked with her kind of in between the two, and it was I think the process for her getting her range of motion back on the second one was a lot better, getting over to full range of motion overhead. It was really like in the beginning, we had to go see a physical therapist just to talk to him, get an assessment. Usually that's where we start off with people when we're doing acute post rehab or rehab stuff. If we're involved in that, I want to have, like, there's a surgery or incision, we have a physical therapist kind of help us out through the process to make sure that we're doing everything right. And so start off with that, get an assessment. Then we can handle a lot of the exercise from day to day, and then kind of work in conjunction with the therapist. So start off with just a lot of basic range of motion exercises, not really loaded. Basically doing things where the arm is supported and you're passively moving through range of motion, trying to regain all the ranges of motion that we're missing. So did an assessment, we found out that raising the arm up overhead was a little limited, and the rotation of the shoulder inward was limited. And then we go to work on those, making sure that we're not putting a lot of pressure on the incision. At this point, it was pretty healed for the most part. We have tissue healing phases that we keep into account when we're working with individuals who have just had some type of surgery, which typically after about 3 to 4 weeks, they can start to do some very minor movements. After about 6 weeks, we can, depending on how the inflammation phase goes, by the time we're around 6 weeks or so, most of the tissue is okay to start doing some light movements. And that doesn't mean we're like doing a lot of resistance, but at that point, we can start going through full range of motion and making the skin stretch a tiny bit, so it starts to put a little bit of pressure along, across the scar. And so it was a slow process. It probably took us, I don't know, I would say 12 weeks or so to kind of get her back reconditioned to the point where she was doing normal exercises. We started off with all isolation in the shoulder. Didn't have any issues with lymphedema, but there are specific strategies that physical therapists specialize in. Lymph massage, but lymph massage paired with exercise. And then there's other adjunct therapies, which like vibration, for instance, can be a good tool. Probably want to chat with the clinician about that before you go start trying it. But
yeah, I'm not familiar with that one. But when you're talking about the range of motion issues, I remember after my surgery, and I'm even 4 or 6 weeks later, and I can barely lift my hand past my head. And now, I'm 5 years later and I can do all the things, but it definitely did not take me 12 weeks. So that is incredibly impressive to be able to work with someone like that, and where you're not causing pain or not causing any problems, to get them to that point. So it's just another way to show that even during and really close after treatment, that moving your body is so important.
Oh yeah, and that was the one thing her oncologist was telling her, like, you got to exercise. And so she would come in even if she was super fatigued from treatment, and would just lay on the floor. We practice breathing exercises. We could do range of motion stuff there, and it's just play it day by day, just based on the energy levels.
See, I didn't have to be, a strenuous workout. It was just, working through those ranges of motion and lying down and, depending on her levels when she came in that day.
Yeah, and she's back to doing everything pretty normal now. I don't think there's any restrictions. So
Yeah, she's doing well.
Now, tell me about the vibration. What is that?
So it's they have different devices that vibrate at different frequencies, and the different frequencies can have certain effects on our tissues and nervous system. And one of the things that vibration can do is just move fluid in our body, right? It's a mechanical wave that's kind of moving fluid. And so with the lymphedema, that's basically what's happening is our lymph system isn't good at, moving that fluid and back towards the heart and putting it back into circulation. So it kind of accumulates in the limb. A lot of times with cancer, if they do surgery and remove lymph nodes, there's a risk of having permanent lymphedema in your arm. And so there can be just some chronic swelling that's there. And so, doing lymph drainage techniques that you can, physical therapists can teach you to do self techniques on that. And then you do some self massage, exercise, muscle contractions work really well because lymph is a passive system. So it requires mechanical movement in order to get it pumping. So muscle actions, and then vibration is also another thing that can get the movement of the fluid going. And so, there's some research out there that I've read on combining those three in treatment for upper extremity lymphedema. They had some massage devices they did in one of the studies that they sent home with the participants, and they had them do self massage with the vibration device, and it seemed to improve range of motion and quality of decreased pain, so quality of life improvement.
Love that. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So you're obviously, helping with Breast Friends and community events, but what other kind of stuff do you do as, because we live in a very medium-sized small community, but there's a lot of people out there. And I think, as I said, the more we help each other, the better off everyone else is. So what else do you guys do?
A lot of our time in the community is spent with Tigard Chamber of Commerce and events that they put on. They partner a lot of times with Tigard Downtown Alliance if there's something going on downtown for an event. And so any events that they put on, we're big proponents of
volunteering usually.
Yeah, volunteering, putting some help with Balloon Festival or the Tigard Music Festival or the Wine Walk, or all kinds of different events that are involved there. They do a lot of community outreach and drives to help support houseless population and other needy groups. So those are, I think we have a pretty good reach in that community through the different organizations that exist to support those groups within the Chamber of Commerce. So that's where a lot of our time goes. We're also part of BNI, which is a networking kind of group, but not as community based as the Chamber of Commerce is.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, what is up next for you guys? Do you have any big plans, or just kind of you're successful with what you're doing, so you're just working with that right now?
Yeah. What's up next? We are we just want to continue helping as many people as possible, right? We want to educate people. We want to help people just live their best life and be healthy. So that is really our main goal.
Yep.
Really, and spread the importance of taking care of themselves.
Now, what if someone is they're feeling like, oh gosh, well, this all sounds fabulous, but I don't know where to begin, or I'm really comfortable on the couch, or but they in their head they know they need to do something, but they're not there yet. What would you say to those people to say, get them motivated, whether it's coming to you if they're local or another organization out there?
It all starts with a phone call, right? It starts with a phone call. Give us a call. We can establish a coaching relationship, maybe kind of help give them ideas on what would be the right fit for them. If they're not local, what they're going to be looking for in seeking out a coach somewhere else. Figuring out, like, I think when people look at fitness a little bit different and their health a little bit different, right? If you need your taxes done, you're going to go to CPA. You're not going to, I mean, some people try to do themselves, but you're not going to do your own dental work, right? You're going to seek out a professional. So that would be the first thing to do is seek out a professional and ask questions. I mean, it really isn't, by calling and asking questions, you're not committing yourselves. You're learning. You're there to learn more about the process and what options there are for you.
Yeah, and if you call somebody, that's, I mean, really, at some point, if you're looking to get into personal training, you're going to be working with a coach, and so that call should be pretty effortless. You should click with that individual, and it shouldn't feel pressure or like salesy, and they should be curious about you and actually interested in kind of helping you out. And so, that should be kind of how the interaction goes. And then the next step, obviously, you got to go in and check the place out. And even if you're not comfortable, you just let the coach know that you're not ready to make a decision, but you want to take a look at the facility. And so, taking those steps to actually talking to somebody and going in and seeing a place, I think is just gotta, it's a lot. It can take people a year or more before they decide to actually step foot in the place. So, that's what I would say is just pick up the phone, give them a call.
Make the first step.
Yeah.
So I forgot to ask you guys this earlier. Give us all the details for the community event that we're doing with Breast Friends and Fit Alliance.
Absolutely.
I know we talked about all the fun stuff, but the date, the time, the location, all of that fun stuff.
It is October 1st from 2 to 5 p.m. and it's in the parking lot of Fit Alliance. So our address, it's 15965 Southwest 72nd. So we're on the corner of Carmen and 72nd Avenue.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It'll be a lot of fun.
And what are the hours? Did you already say that?
2 to 5 p.m.
2 to 5. Okay. Thank you. It's the cancer brain. I hear things. I don't hear things. I can't remember things. But well, I'm definitely super excited to be there for all of to support each other also. And, listeners, if you aren't local, please come by. We're going to have some raffle baskets and, there's the margaritas and the Mexican food and the wine pull, the baby goats, the the blow up axe throwing, which was super fun last year, and the tastings from Wild, which I'm a huge Wild fan, all things Wild. And I just can't wait. So tell our listeners how they can find you again and follow and all of those things if they're interested in getting started.
Yeah. So the web address is fitalliancepdx.com. That is our web address. If you want to give us a phone call, if you have any questions, you're welcome to call and chat with us. It's 503-647-4527.
You can check us out on Facebook too if you want to see about some of the stuff we're doing in the community. We usually post a lot of that there. And then if you want to hear or read about what other people their experiences at the gym, we got some Google reviews that you can take a look at as well.
Perfect. Well, Lisa, Jordan, thank you so much for being here today and talking about Fit Alliance and all the things you're doing for Breast Friends and for your members there at the gym, who it sounds like you've really taken a very niche community and are making their everyday better by improving their health and their fitness. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. I know I definitely learned a lot. I want to check out that vibration thing.
I got one more for you if you got a couple, like another minute.
Yes, please.
So one of the things that I wanted to share was some research on nutrition and cancer, breast cancer specifically. The timing of when you eat. It was actually there was a study, and it was done by Ruth Patterson from the Moores Cancer Center at University of California, San Diego, and they did a study on time-restricted eating. And they found that if you eat all of your food within about a 12-hour window, that you have reduced risk of cancer. And so pretty simple to do. Just eat all your food in 11 hours and then don't eat for the other, 13 hours?
Yeah, that's not that hard to do. my son, I try to go, we eat dinner, 5:30, 6 o'clock. And then my son goes to bed and I try to go brush my teeth at 8 when he goes to bed. So I don't snack after that, which actually helps me a lot. And then in the morning I have my coffee and I usually don't eat till around 10 or 11. So I'm kind of working on my own intermittent fasting schedule.
It's a great strategy.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you for that last little fun fact. Anything else you want to share?
Oh man, I could probably go on. I have to have another one to talk specifically about exercise and
okay. Well, you know what? We'll have you back in a few months and we can actually talk about that. So that would be great. Perfect.
Awesome.
Well, again, listeners, Fit Alliance, check them out. And listeners, also, if you or a loved one need our services, please visit breastfriends.org and see what our programs can do for you. If you would like to help our mission, please donate. You can do so on our website, there's a donate button, or by texting BF Radio to 41444. If you would like to be my guest or a sponsor, please email me at michellebeck@breastfriends.org. We can be found on Voice America's Health and Wellness channel, most of the major podcast platforms, and also you can watch our video episodes on the Breast Friends YouTube channel. And if you do that, please subscribe. So we will be back next week. And until then, remember, we rise by lifting each other.